What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Kid for Daniel, aka Big D, back with another review video. Now, I have not seen anybody doing reviews of why the Xbox 360, personally, I think is better than the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X. So, I have not seen any videos on YouTube of people making videos of this. So, I want to personally say why I think the Xbox 360 is better than the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X. So first off, right here are all the Xbox, as you see, laying on the table. So I just want to start off with I'm not going to do any like history of like the Xbox, because there's already plenty of histories videos of like Xbox 360, Xbox One. There's plenty of those. I just want to do a video of why the 360s are better than the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X and S. Now I will name off, there were different models of the Xbox 360s. These were the original Xbox 360s that when they first came out. Okay, these were like the first models. And then personally, my favorite one out of the 360 is the Xbox 360 Slim. Now the Xbox 360 Slim, amazing, just looks beautiful. And then you got the newest one, the latest one, which is the Xbox 360e, which was supposed to look like the Xbox One when the Xbox One first came out. So I'm going to start off here. One reason why the Xbox 360 is better than the Xbox One and Series X. The controller. I cannot. Now, I'm telling you from my perspective, I've originally been a PlayStation fan for many years. I was always about my PlayStation. I just recently got into Xbox within like 2 years ago. And my options are just like open now. Like, I love them all. I love my PlayStation. I love my Xbox, Nintendo. Well, anyway, ever since I've played a 360, I can't seem to get my hands off of it. I always find myself going back to the Xbox 360 playing some games. And I tell you, the controller is one of the reasons why I come to this system all the time. Even in 2021, I'm always like, I got a brand new Xbox Series S. Just recently got. These are hard to find. And I still find myself hopping on my Xbox 360s. Like all the time. I always find myself on these because of the controller. I mean, these is what started it. These is literally what started it all, from the wireless control. And then as you can see, if you compare them, Xbox 360, Xbox One, look how very similar they look, because they took the Xbox 360 design and just made it a little bit more better on the Xbox One. It's still there. You could still see the designs. Like, the Xbox 360 is what started all. And like, I don't see too many people like talking about the controller like this, but they made newer models which got rid of like that squishy D-pad. See how squishy that is? They got the one where you can turn it, rotate it, and see how it pops these four corners out. Now it's all one. Or if you don't like it like that, you can just turn it and it just makes it like a regular D-pad. Now, when you guys, like when you were playing on the Xbox 360, say you got an achievement, you know, your LED lights are on, these would blink, like whether you were one player, most likely one player, these would blink every time you got an achievement. Therefore, the controller is giving you a notification that like, hey, you got an achievement, and they would blink. And then sometimes when you're in a game, sometimes these lights will just do these rotating circles. That just the little things like that is what just makes this controller come to life. And overall, the sleek, the designed, yeah, they took AA batteries, but that was just that wasn't really a problem back in the day because you could buy rechargeable battery packs if you wanted to. But overall, the design of the controller is why I keep coming back to this console and why I think it's better than the Xbox. I mean, yeah, the Xbox One controller and the Xbox Series X, almost identical. A little bit of specs there. But I'm saying this, these feel great. But I'm saying this because the 360 controllers is what started it all. And like, that's just, like, look at that. See how it's doing that rotating circular thing? That is like, just the small things like that. Just the small things like that is what impresses me. And plus, the console, when you booted it up, it would do the circular, like, it's rotating when you booted up the console every time. Except for the E. The E lacks with the doing them features. But the original and the Slim do it. Number 2 of why I think it's better in 2021. I honestly, like, these things are dirt cheap. Like, I'm putting it out there right now, like, the Xbox 360s, like, you look up on eBay, these things are dirt cheap. I just recently just bought these two. I just bought these two for a little bit of nothing. Because they're dirt cheap. Like, right now is a good time to collect them. If not, if you haven't even played an Xbox 360, the Xbox is the way to start it off. The Xbox 360 is the way to start it off if you're new with Xbox. That's the way to start it off. These guys were definitely ahead of their game back in the day in 2005. They were ahead of their time back in the day. And they still are amazing consoles in 2021. Like, that's amazing. But yeah, they're very dirt cheap compared to the Xbox One, and especially the Xbox Series X and S. Currently, these are hard to find right now. Really hard to find. I'm lucky to have one sitting here in front of me, but these are really hard to find. But these you can find easy, dirt cheap on eBay, and that's why I personally think why it's better than Xbox One and Series X. Another thing too I want to mention is the original Xbox 360s didn't do these features, which, you know, once they came out with the Slim was the first one to introduce, like, sounds. Every time you booted up the console, it would make a sound. Or if you ejected it. Like, this is touch too. This is like a touch sensor. You don't have to push in. That was the first to really do that. Well, besides the PS3, which is over there, it had a touch sensor. But the point is, this console was the first to do noises, like sound effects, every time you booted it up. And they have limited edition models, like the Star Wars RTD2 makes the noises of that. Gears of War. I mean, they had limited editions of these models that started it all with the sound effects with the consoles, and then they brought it on to the Xbox One. But I ain't gonna get into those because this is what started it all. Another third reason why the Xbox 360s are better than the Xbox One and Series X and S is the game servers are still running in 2021. It's been 16 years since the original Xbox 360's been out, and the game servers are still up and running nowadays. You can still join a party and invite your friends to a party, which back in the day, that was ahead of its time. Like, the 360 is what introduced online play, gameplays, like, online in general. And it was definitely ahead of its time, but you can still join a party. You can do all these online features yet today in 2021. And it's just, like I said, again, dirt cheap to pick these one up now. They're really cheap. The games, which brings me to number 4. This guy's still trying to search. But number 4, the games are really dirt cheap. I mean, the Series S and X are like $70. The highest I've ever seen. $70. Brand new. Some of them are like $60, But anyway, the highest I've seen for the games for these, $70. That's crazy. I picked up a couple Xbox 360 games. I could pick up like probably 20 to 10 games for that price for an Xbox 360. These games are really dirt cheap for these consoles. I picked up games for like $5. Sometimes less than $5 for an Xbox 360 game. And that's number 4 why I think it's better. It's really cheap. You know, everyone wants to save money, and that's how I am. If I see something that's going to be cheap, I'm going to grab it. You know what I mean? That's just how it is, and everybody else is. Exclusive games like Forza, Gears of War, Halo. All amazing games on the Xbox 360 exclusively for the Xbox 360. Like, you cannot buy these games on different systems. Like, you can only play these games on the Xbox 360. Yes, I will admit the Xbox One is backwards compatible for Xbox 360 games and do look better on the Xbox One. And yes, the Xbox Series X is even backwards compatible with Xbox One and Xbox 360 and even looks even better on that console. But I'm telling you, when these came out, Xbox 360s, the exclusive games and the game libraries, which is number 5 why it's better, the freaking games are just so many amazing titles out there for these consoles. So many of them. There's not even exclusive games for the Xbox X and Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Try saying that 1,000 times fast. There's not even exclusive games for these consoles yet. They're still trying to make some. Like, and that is number 5 why it's still better to pick one up today over the Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One. I mean, there's so much I can say about this system. The dashboard is even number 6, by the way. If I can hold up. Number 6. But anyway, number 6, another reason why this console is great than the newer generation is the fact the dashboard for these systems are just amazing. Still great. Like, the Xbox One was a little confusing when it came out, and then like the Xbox Series X and S pretty much just looks like an updated version of an Xbox One dashboard. Like, they're pretty much almost the same. The only thing different is that this is more powerful than this. But the dashboard for the 360 definitely is unique and nostalgia. Definitely nostalgia. But definitely unique and better in its own way. Like, you can play, like, all you gotta do is just, if you want to play stuff on a flash drive, you take a flash drive, plug it right into one of these suckers right here, and you could play music, DVDs, movies, whatever you want off of that flash drive. And, like, you can be able to play a lot. You can do a lot on these systems. Like I said, definitely ahead of their time. You can do so much more on an Xbox 360 is what I'm saying than you can do on an Xbox One and an Xbox Series X. And there's so much I can say about these consoles. But that's about 6. I can probably name 7. But for now, that's 6 reasons why an Xbox 360 is better than an Xbox One and an Xbox Series X and S. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just something I've been wanting to get off my chest for a while. I have not seen anybody do any videos of this. And like I said, the Xbox Series X, which is right there, is really hard to find nowadays. Everyone's bought them and trying to resell them on eBay twice as the price. Why go out and spend more on something that's not even worth that much when all you gotta do is go on eBay, get you an Xbox 360. You can get a good bundle on there with some games less than $100. That's dirt cheap. That's cheap. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'm out this thing. Peace out, everyone. And don't forget to like and subscribe.